have the honor of serving as the superintendent here in this outstanding school district. Before we get started, I just want to take an opportunity again, first and foremost, to welcome Administrator Reagan and also welcome the Honorable Congressman Clyburn for being here, and the EPA for the partnership and the award that we are able to provide to our students here. I also want to take an opportunity to acknowledge a lot of important people here in this room this afternoon. I see before us, we have a group of our elected officials here, our school board members. If you would please stand and be acknowledged. This group of individuals work tirelessly every day to ensure that our students have the very best, but also see some members from our city and county council. If you're in the meeting, please stand as well. We also have our city Everett, our city administrator here. Please wave for staying to be recognized. And President Alex Kynes is also here, the president of. But I also want to acknowledge that wonderful group of students that you guys just heard, but also our students from our Stage Academy and our Sisters Keeper program that are here. That's why we do what we do each and every day, for those beautiful faces, so that we can ensure that they have the very best. So here in Orangeburg, it is our goal and our responsibility to ensure that every single student has a high-quality educational experience. So as you drive from across this county from corner to corner, you see the new buildings going up, you see the enhancements in our athletic facilities, you see the new athletic uniforms, new band instruments. This is just an additional step to ensuring that complete educational experience, that the ride to and from school is just as memorable, just as exciting, just as comfortable and clean as it is when they get inside our buildings. That it takes every single aspect to educate our children so they can become the very best they can be. Before I sit down and turn it over to the Honorable Congressman Clyburn, I want to share some stats with the community. Here in Orangeburg County, we're a little large. We have some land mass to travel. We're about almost 2,200 square miles. And we travel annually 1.3 million miles annually, transporting 78% of the students in this country. So of the 10,600 plus students, 8,300 of them get on the bus every single day. So you can imagine how important that is to a community such as Orangeburg to have safe, clean, efficient, but also comfortable rides to and from school as those young minds prepare themselves to learn and rest their minds as they walk. So again, thank you all for your commitment to Orangeburg and the opportunities you're providing to our students. Of the 189 buses we have in our Orangeburg fleet, with the addition of these 20 buses, we will only have 17 buses that are older than 10 years old in this school district, which is tremendous. 92% of our bus fleet is 10 years or younger. So that says a lot about the commitment and understanding of this administration, Administrator Reagan, of the complete experience for our children. So again, thank you all so much for this commitment. And with that being said, I'll turn it over to the Honorable Clyburn.
Thank you very much, Superintendent Foster, for welcoming all of us here today. Thank you so very, very much. Thanks to all of you who are joining us today, most especially Administrator Reagan. Thank you for your innovative, creative leadership that you've given to the EPA on behalf of the people of this great country. Now, I tend to listen very closely when I go into any environment and to see what is being said, how it's being said. I noticed that Superintendent Foster mentioned that after this tranche of 20 buses, we were here last year with 16. He says there are only 17 will be more than 10 years old. He is expecting for us to be back here next year with 17 months. I think that's what I hear. And if I hear that correctly, then Mr. Administrator, you know what you got to do over the next year. But it's a pleasure for me always to be in Orangeburg County and to be a part of the innovation that's taken here. I tend to keep up with what's going on in the congressional district that I'm proud to serve. And I noticed, Mr. Superintendent, you got a very, 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 very good evaluation recently. Congratulations. I believe very strongly that not only should we have strong, innovative leadership, but in order for things to really prosper, we must do what we can to stabilize our communities in the best way that we possibly can. I also noticed the Superintendent Foster mentioned a lot of superlatives about school buses. One superlative that I did not hear that I want to emphasize, because with each passing day, when you get to be as far beyond the promise that I have gotten, you pay close attention to certain things. And one of the things I pay close attention to these days is what's affecting my eyes and my nose. And it is health. That's what the environment. The Environmental Protection Agency is all about. Protecting the environment and making sure that that environment is a healthy one. Now, Mr. Mayor, as you know, I'm the son of a fundamentalist minister. Didn't follow my father into the ministry, but one of the things I learned from my dad's sermons is that it is incumbent upon us to be stewards of the great earth, to be stewards. That which we find growing out of the ground, but also that which floats around in the air. It is our job to do what is necessary for our children when they get on these buses, to not only have a safe ride home, but to have a healthy ride home. And that's what we mean when we call this program that Minister Regan is implementing on behalf of President Biden. This is about clean, healthy buses for our children to ride on. And so it's one thing to be able to get to where you're going on time. It's one thing to get there safely. But it's something else again, to have a healthy ride as you go home. And that's what we're trying to do. We all know, as stewards of this environment, it is our job to make sure that these young children grow up drinking good, clean water. That is very, very important. Good, clean water. And that's a big one with me. It's a big one with me. I've been into many communities where the water supply has been poisoned because of the lack of innovative, committed leadership. And it's so often that we go into communities and we want to make investments in those communities, and people immediately call what you're doing a waste of taxpayer money. I'd like to know what value any one of us would want any elected official to put on our own personal lives. We want to have a clean environment. And that's what these buses are all about. As science grows, innovates. I spent quite a few moments with President Conyers before coming here today, talking about innovation and talking about the future and what's incumbent upon us to be good students. And I want to thank all of you for being here today, most especially these young children. I rode the bus with Christopher. Where's Christopher? Hey, Christopher, stand up. Christopher. 11 years old, if my memory serves. Thank you for allowing me a very enjoyable bus ride around today. And as one little fifth grader, that made me think back to Miss Alice Johnson, my fifth grade teacher, who got me started over in Sumter. And I can see whoever your fifth grade teacher is, she must be one remarkable teacher, because you're one remarkable kid. And with that, let me perform the task that I'm supposed to perform today and introduce one of the people who will be driving this bus, one of these buses, who has been driving some buses that may not have been as clean and healthy a drive as he has been making in the past, Aaron Garcia.
I'm not gonna lie, my speech is nowhere near as elaborate as theirs. But so my name is Aaron Garcia, like Mr. Clapp mentioned, and I'm one of the school bus drivers for the Orangeburg County School District. And this is actually my second year driving, so this is actually a lot for such a little bit of time for me. But so being a bus driver, one of the main things is that the students see me first and last. So I want to make sure I have a positive influence on them. And make sure I try to smile and everything. But yeah, for the drive for the electric bus, it was great. Driving one is great, and honestly, it takes a bit of adjusting to the quiet startup than a diesel bus, so that's gonna take some adjusting. But yeah, as for my personal experience driving the bus, I think that there are a lot of benefits to it. For example, there's no tailpipe emission. It's a very quiet ride. There is, they call it regenerative braking, but all that fancy stuff. But yeah, so I think I speak for all of us when I say that we are very excited to start having cleaner and healthier rides for our drivers and for the students that we transport in Orangeburg County School District. Thank you. And now we're going to for raising the hand.
But hey everyone, my name is Raven Patrick. I am a proud student here at Marshall Elementary School, right in the heart of Orangeburg County School District. Before I introduce our very special guest, I want to share some really cool stuff that is happening right in our school district. First up, we have the eSports Lab at our technology centers. It's a place where kids like me can learn and play video games in a new way. But it's not just about the video games. We're learning technology, teamwork, and even creating our own games ourselves. Here at Marshall, we have something called the Stage Magnet Program. It's a magnet program that focuses on students taking on the arts and gifted education. It's helping us learn in fun and exciting ways. I think it's cool to be a part of it. Also, I had a chance to participate in the MLK Oratory Competition recently held by our school district. It was an amazing experience, where the students like me got to speak our minds and share our dreams, inspired by the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's just one of the ways that our school district inspires us to use our voice to make a change. Now, let me introduce our very special guest, Mr. Michael Regan, the leader of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Mr. Regan is the first black man to lead this organization since he started in March of 2021. He grew up loving the outdoors in North Carolina and has worked hard to protect our planet. Mr. Regan has done a lot of important work, like cleaning up pollution, making sure we all have clean air and water. He believes in working together to solve environmental problems, which is something we can all learn from. So let's give a big warm welcome to Mr. Michael Regan!
Who in the world signed me up to follow Reagan? That's a hard act to follow. Thank you, Reagan, for that wonderful introduction, and thank you all for being here today. Dr. Foster, thank you for welcoming us to Orangeburg. It's really a pleasure to be here with you and to meet you. Principal Whitehurst, thank you and all the staff here at Marshall Elementary. Thank you for hosting us, and thank you for the level of excellence that you are setting for these kids. Congressman Clyburn, it's an honor to be here again in your district. The congressman, I have to say, you all have excellent representation in Washington, D.C. It's a little bit off topic today, but I'm going to touch on a few things, and you know, the topic of clean water. Let me just say that the congressman and Joe Biden together has provided over $50 billion to EPA to focus on clean water. And so he puts his money where his mouth is. Now, he expects us to give a little bit more to South Carolina, but that's... I'd also like to thank all the state and local leaders who are here today. You all play a critical role. Congressman Clyburn and others work to get these federal dollars allocated to EPA. You all ensure that we get the money to the people that actually need and deserve the money. So thank you all for your leadership. I have to say that some of the best moments of my job are when we get an opportunity to engage with young folks, the next generation of leaders. They represent the best and the brightest of our country. And every single day, I'm inspired by the passion and the enthusiasm of our young people. As a parent of a 10-year-old myself, I understand the weight and the seriousness of the responsibility to educate this next generation. And I can tell you with all certainty that there's no higher priority for me or President Biden to ensuring that our children can thrive in a clean and healthy environment. Every single day, millions of children across this country ride to and from school on these yellow school buses. For many, it's just a means of transportation. But for most, it's a source of connection to the community. It's the quintessential part of being an American. But the diesel exhaust from these buses can cause lung damage, aggravate asthma, exacerbate other health issues for children who ride the bus, and bus drivers responsible for transporting them. And also those teachers who have bus duty and those who are in the surrounding communities. On day one, President Biden committed to ensuring that our children can grow up in a healthier, more sustainable world. And the Clean School Bus Program is central to those efforts. Thanks to the leadership of President Biden and Congressman Clyburn, EPA has over $5 billion, billion with a B, for Clean School Bus Program of this country to upgrade and electrify our nation's school bus fleet for all of our children. And so far, our agency has already awarded just under $2 billion to school districts across the country. These investments are going everywhere that school buses go. They're going into urban communities. They're going into rural communities. They're going into our tribal communities. They're going into the communities that need and deserve these buses the most. Here in South Carolina, Congressman Clyburn has not disappointed. School districts have received just under $66 million from President Biden's Investing in America agenda to deliver over 168 clean school buses to school districts all across this great state. And we're moving very quickly to make more than that happen. In the coming months, as you've heard, students from Orangeburg County School District will be able to ride in 20 of the first ever electric school buses to hit the road here in South Carolina. Yes. South Carolina, more than 5,000 electric and low emission buses, just like the ones here today, are in the process of being delivered to communities all across the country. These new electric-powered school buses will deliver safer, healthier, and more environmentally sustainable learning spaces for our children, especially in the areas where our children learn and play. Folks, the benefits of the Clean School Bus Program go far beyond public health. It will also save school districts money, create good paying jobs, build a cleaner, stronger economy, and help our country address the threat of climate change. And while the buses are parked during the day, they can also help rural electric cooperatives meet energy demand, strengthen the grid reliability, and reduce customer costs. Transitioning to clean school buses means cleaner air and less pollution. It means healthier kids and healthier communities. It means less time away from school and increased focus and productivity. And it means good paying American manufacturing jobs right here in South Carolina and all across the country. And let me tell you, you all are leading the way, helping drive forward our country's transition to a clean transportation future, one electric school bus at a time. This is what President Biden's Investing in America agenda is all about. We're transforming how millions of children get to and from school. And we're positioning our nation to go further and faster than ever before to achieve our climate, education, and public health goals. I couldn't be more optimistic about our future and where we're headed. I couldn't be more grateful for the leadership of President Biden, leaders like Congressman Clyburn, Vice President Harris, who are working every single day to build a better future for my children and your children. Mark my words, zero-emission school buses can and will be the American standard. All we have to do is hit the accelerator. Let's go. Now I think we'll take a few questions from the press, all of us will.
Yeah. Administrator, either for you or Congressman Clyburn, or maybe both. Congressman, I know you mentioned on the bus how South Carolina's allotment is the third most among all states. How much do you think that speaks to just how great the need is in this state, not just for these clean buses, but for just new buses in general?
Well, it may speak to how good your congressional representation is. But on a serious note, this is probably not serious. I think that what it says, two things. Many of you may know, several years ago, I petitioned when we first started doing what we call remedial stuff to make up for things. You remember we came out of a great recession back in 2008. Back in 2009, I petitioned the Congress and the then White House to focus and target resources into communities of need and to make sure that we didn't leave these communities out. And so what Minister Regan is trying to do is to make sure that we address needs, not to just get money out of the door. And so when you look at it, one of the things that we did, we created something we call a 10-20-30 formula that's being written about a lot. And that simply says this, that when you get ready to make decisions about how you're going to spend this pot of money, you should look at what the Census Bureau has said, that in South Carolina, in the country, there are about 500 counties. About 9 or 10 of those counties are here in South Carolina, and Orangeburg is one of them. You should focus the resources in those counties. Now, here's the way they define it. Any county where 20% or more of the population has been stuck beneath the poverty level for the last 30 years is called a persistent poverty county. And so what Administrator Regan and others in this administration have been trying to do is to focus resources in these counties. And so that formula says at least 10% of this money ought to be spent in those counties where 20% or more of the population has been stuck beneath the poverty level for 30 years. That's what we just put in the 10%. circumstances with the 20 and the 30 there. And so that's what's been going on with this administration. That's why South Carolina is third to what we need to be. We know California, and we think New York. And South Carolina is number 3. That ain't bad. We'll go South Carolina.
And I'll just add one note, and it's indicative to my conversation with the superintendent and principal. I asked them if they were surprised that they were selected for these grants, and they didn't blink. They said no. They said we were prepared. And so when we look at the grant competitions all across the country, and when we spend time with the administration team here, the school board, the locally elected leaders, all the way up to Congressman Clyburn. Congressman Clyburn delivered on helping to get these resources, but the community was prepared to receive these resources. So I'm thankful that we have this kind of leadership infusing thoughts and ideas into the children of the next day.
No questions from press? Back here.
Administrator, just a logistical question. How many miles can these buses go in a single charge, and how long does it take to recharge?
Yeah, maybe bring up our expert to speak on the stats of this particular school bus.
I don't know, I think I got grilled enough by wonderful students on that bus ride. There are certainly our future leaders in this country. On the type of buses that we do have, we get almost 140 miles on a single charge.
And how long does it take to recharge at the end of the day for them?
It depends on the percentage levels at that time. If it's anywhere between 70% or that 50% mark, we can take up to 2 to 3 hours for a full charge.
Thank you.
I know you mentioned where the buses are going to be stored for that charge, but can you reiterate it again for us?
It's going to be housed at one of our transportation offices on Highway 301, which is just 9 minutes away from this location.
How long until those charging pads in that facility will be ready to have those buses?
That's a good question. We anticipate seeing all the charges installed by the end of this week. And so we'll be able to see additional buses arriving that will be parked at that location as well.
Other questions from press? All right, thank you so much, everybody.